everybody afterwards. And so I printed off some, but I didn't print off enough for everybody because I know everybody doesn't want paper copies. So you can tell me if you want a paper copy. I'll pass them around, grab them. And if we run out, Kelly will get some more for you. This is just a little outline of some tips and tricks that you're going to want to remember after we leave here on how to actually use TransactionDesk. And then it's required documents for a listing that my home group requires, required documents for a purchase contract are listed out, and then common contract clauses. It's 3 pages of common contract clauses that we see. So I've printed it all out. If you guys want one, take one. If not, pass it down. And then if we run out towards the end, let me know, and then I'll have Kelly get some more. Okay, so my name is Tate Lopez. I am the owner of Powerhouse Transaction Coordinators. I started it with my home group years ago when my home group first started, and it was just me for a long time. And as my home group has grown, so I work with a team of transaction coordinators, and we help only my home group agents. So I am in TransactionDesk all day long. I worked with it for almost 2 years. When it first started coming out, I switched over to TransactionDesk and learned it, and so I really haven't used it for about 1.5 years. So I know what to do in TransactionDesk if you're having a problem. So we're going to walk through this step by step. Some of you probably know some of the stuff we're going to go over, but I'm going to hopefully fill in the gaps for everybody. So we're going to go pretty slow through this. This first class, the 101 class, is going to walk you through settings and templates and everything really slowly. And then we're going to get to actually an offer and sending for signing in the next, the 202 class after lunch. Okay? Does anybody have anything absolutely specific that they want to cover or looking for to learn in this class? Besides how to use it. Okay. All right, so we're going to get started. I don't know if you got the email yesterday from Kelly that said how to log in. Did everybody know how to log in from this screen right here?
No.
Okay. This is the main login screen. You want to log in from here. If you go through the back door, which is through MLS, AAR, single sign-on login, that takes you 3 extra steps, and you have to know your NERD's number if you don't save it in your computer. So you can get through it that way, but sometimes I have people that'll click on TransactionDesk from Armless, from a property, and it creates a new transaction for you every single time. So you don't want to log in that way. Anytime you're accessing any of your transactions you have going right now, you want to log in from this page. So this is pr.transactiondesk.com. It'll bring you straight here.
What is it?
pr.transactiondesk.com. This login will just automatically pop up. All you have to put is this pr.transactiondesk.com right there. This is your main login page.
What Wi-Fi connection? Because mine is just spinning.
It's just called MHG right there, and there's the password on top of that.
MAG4?
Actually, no,
if you went to that, then you're good. Then you're logged in.
And then the password.
So you're okay. Yeah, then you're logged in. So try your email and your password on this page, and raise your hand if it doesn't work.
Mine just came up with it.
Yours is logged in already? Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Put it in.
I'm just looking forward to the CL file. If there is an inspection, the board of the inspection report
They
doesn't.
don't require you to upload it.
No kidding.
Subject to change.
Nicer than everywhere I worked at in California.
Okay, does this work for you guys? When you put your email and your password in, it all works? You guys can get logged in? Does it not work for anybody? Oh.
Say you want more printouts?
Oh, what?
More printouts?
No, I think everyone got one. Mary, did you get a printout? Did you want one?
No, we actually stopped right here.
You ran out?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at least.
10 more. 10 more. Okay, I just need to know if I need to walk you guys through how to set up your login here or not. So if you guys are all logged in, then we're going to skip that. Are you guys all logged in on this page?
Yeah.
I have to reset my password.
Okay.
But, the message is not coming through.
So what this problem is that people have is you have an email on file with your association, whether it's WeServe or Scottsdale Association. That's the email that TransactionDesk will use. You can change your email in the settings of TransactionDesk, but at midnight it reverts back every time to the one that your association is giving them. So that is your login. Your login is always going to be an email, and it's always going to be the one that your association has on file. So if you want to change that email, you need to change it with your association. So that's step one, and then once you have that email correct, a lot of times it doesn't work. You need to reset your password. You can reset it to the same thing, but it takes my agents normally 2 or 3 times to get it reset, finally get logged in, and then you can use this. I don't know why it's so difficult, but you can figure it out after you reset it a few times. Okay, so if you ever have issues with this, changing your emails, go to your association and change it, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have an active listing with an HOA right now? No?
Are you serious?
Pending.
You just put it on yesterday and it's active?
Is that even surprising?
No, not really. But there's
Oh,
there's
then
two
you'll
on
this
there.
one over.
It's going active tomorrow.
So this is what my agent just put this one live this morning, so we'll use this one. Alright. So here we are on the dashboard. Dashboard's always gonna look like this when you first sign up. Transactions, Authentisign is the signing system that comes with it, your forms, and then I have checklist on here. You can change what you want by going to this lock and unlock right here. And then you can change what shows up here.
Nice.
Okay? Organize it how you want. You can play with that one later a little bit. So the first thing I do when I go through and set up anyone's transaction desk here is just go straight to the settings. The gear. Can you guys see it on the left hand side or no? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there.
Can you see the left hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So these settings here is where you're gonna go first. So click on settings. And we're gonna go through, touch a bunch of these. We're not gonna go through every one of them, so I definitely recommend you go through all of them. So first, preferences, user information. This is where you find what email is associated with the account. Your phone number here. A lot of times your phone number is incorrect. It takes your phone number that's like my home group office or something. Right. These show up on the bottom of all of your forms that go to your client.
If I need to update my email, can I do that in here right now?
You know it'll revert back at midnight.
How about the phone number? Will that work?
The phone number doesn't revert back. You can change the phone number. But the email, you need to go to your association to update it. Are you with WeServe or Scottsdale?
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale. I don't know how to do Scottsdale. WeServe does it online, so they should probably do it online. All right. So make sure that this phone number is right. That'll show up on your forms, and you can add all that information in there. This office information can't be changed. And then your signature, you're going to want to put your signature on here. Every time an email is sent from TransactionDesk to your clients or to, if you're sending documents to the other side, this is how it's going to show.
Where was it?
That's
Email
under
signature.
email signature.
It's under,
Scroll on.
Excuse me.
So you're in the settings
Mm-hmm.
tab. under
Settings.
preferences.
information.
Preferences is the first one,
Then go
and now
to
I'm down at email
email
signature.
You can't add a photo in there, can you?
No, but I'll show you next where we're at. Just type it in.
Just type in your
What do you
stuff.
want?
Or
Your
just
name?
copy it from your Gmail.
Your name, your phone number. Yeah.
No, I put in. Here, I don't know what password, but I can put in the password.
Is there a reset somewhere? When you send out an email, is there a way to see what you sent out? Like a lot of times I'll say, here's the instructions, here's this and this, but I never get a copy of that. Is there somewhere inside of the program that you see?
How you doing?
Like a signing that you sent out?
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, because I haven't ever found that. So
Oh.
when,
I'll show you.
Okay.
I've made one and then I'll show you when we get there. Okay. Branding, that's the next thing. This is where you're gonna add your photo. Your personal photo can go here. Company logo, so you can add in the My Home Group logo here. So here's my Home Group circle logo. You can add that in there. And your banner. So if you have a banner, like an email banner, you can put that up there. And it'll show in every single email you send out from the signing system. So your clients are gonna see this, the other side's gonna see this.
We're here all the time.
All right. Going back to settings.
Yeah.
Program settings. I'm not gonna go through all of these with you guys. This is something that you'd probably wanna do on your own. Most of this stuff I have kept the same from what comes there. The form settings is something I've changed just because I like the bold font to stick out. If you don't have the bold font, it just looks all the same and it doesn't stick out to the clients. Program settings, settings, program settings, and now I'm under form. You can change the default size, change it to bold.
She said this one.
So I definitely go through each one of these little settings and see how you like it. The ones that come with it are fine. It's just your matter of preference.
which one was the bold one that you did?
Program settings, forms. So anytime I write on a form, I do the bold one. I set that there so it's bold automatically. Alright, so fax, I don't know if you guys know, TransactionDesk has a fax for every transaction. So if your client wants a fax, which I've seen, it's common, unfortunately. You can just have them fax to that transaction. So when you create a transaction, it'll create a fax number for that transaction. So you can change all your fax settings in here too. And I think Authentisign settings, there's really not much to do in there. And then markup settings, I usually like to do this one too. You can change to what you want. A markup is when you're writing on top of a document before you send it out for signature. Alright. We can skip linked applications. There's nothing that we're going to do there. Notifications, you're going to want to go through that and do your notifications too. If you're on a team, you might want to know if someone shared a transaction with you. If you ever set up your tasks, we're not going to go through those today, but Transaction does have a task list for you, so you can set up all those notifications. Clauses, we're going to go over clauses right now. So this is a big setup step that is going to save you guys lots of time. So the paper that you have that's common contract clauses, there's 3 pages of them. That's what you're going to want to put in here. So under the setting with clauses, you go to personal clauses, and this is all of them I have in here. So this is why I say I'm going to email them to you so that you can copy and paste them. But you just go right in here and add the clause, or add every single one of them in here that you want and that you prefer. So you can add a new clause, title it, what you want it to be. So let's see. Alright, so one of the new ones that I've added is this appraisal shortfall. If you guys have seen that, this is what's being added to the additional clause addendum. It's like an appraisal contingency waiver, except only for a certain amount. So this is what you see in a lot of contracts right now. So I'll add this one for you, appraisal shortfall. and save that. So everything that you put in here, what you're gonna do when you're writing a contract is just select what clause you want in section 8. You select whichever one you want. You can select multiple ones, it'll automatically put it in there for you. And then you just fill in the blank information, so you don't have to retype, look up what you wanna say every single time. It's gonna be a uniform way to say it. So go through that form and add in all the clauses that you want. I have like a change of lender addendum in here, and you can add them not just on the section 8 of the purchase contract, but you can add them in addendums if it's a common one that you use. Tell her to vacate before the final walkthrough. So I'm just adding these. I'm just showing you, so you guys aren't going to do them all right now because there's so many, but you're going to want to go through and do these. So go through that list and figure out which ones you think you like, what you want to use. And these contract clauses are not my advice, okay? I see dozens of contracts a week, and I see them all come through. I see what the broker kicks back. I see what the broker tells you how it should be written. That's my main job, is to make sure your file's approved for the broker so you can get paid. So I see these contract clauses constantly, and I see when they go bad too. When they're written wrong and they go bad, and then I get to watch what happens. So these are just a compilation of what I've seen that's worked well and that the broker likes too. Okay? All right, are we ready to move on from contract clauses? Are you guys good with that? Yeah. Okay. We're not going to go over the type management. Those are all just automatically in there for all your transactions. You don't need any more types. They have all of them in there that you might need. And then your checklist manager. I'm going to skip templates just for a second. Teams and sharing. So if you're on a team and you want to share every transaction with your team lead, or you want your team to share, you're going to create a share group, and that makes the other person's account link with your account. So every transaction that's created, you can share with that person. And that is all on the settings. So let's go to transaction templates. How many people have their templates set up already? Just a few of you. Okay, so we're going to go through this then on how to set up the templates. If you look on your paper I gave you, required documents for a listing and required documents for a purchase file. Those are the ones that you're going to want to add to your templates. So that's why I gave you that. So we're just going to start creating a new template. Add. So we're going to call this one purchase template. This is going to be for residential purchase.
Do you have any more of those flyers?
Yes, Kelly was, oh, they're right there.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. You do both. Oh, thank you.
149.50.
Here, can I pass them down?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, residential purchase. That's the first one we're going to set up. I have set up a few templates for some of my agents, my agents that use me. I have agents that use multiple escrow companies, and I set up multiple purchase templates. So if you want to use one escrow company one time and another one the next time, instead of having to look up all your escrow officer's information and type it in, just create a second template. way easier to just apply that template than type it all in.
That's a great tip right there.
Alright, so the first thing is if you're gonna use the checklist, you're gonna spend some good amount of time creating your checklist in here, so that's why I don't really recommend this. But if you like their checklist, you're gonna wanna apply the checklist that you want for a purchase contract to give you notifications when stuff is due, like earnest money funds, things like that. So, and then contacts is next, so if you have a TC, you would add the TC in your contacts so that they are automatically applied to every transaction template and they can go in there. Yours are already like that. So, if you have a team lead, you probably want to put that person under your contacts too. Add them in there. And then the documents. So in TransactionDesk, documents and forms are two separate things. Forms is everything that comes from AAR and ARMless for you. Documents is anything that your broker requires or that is other specific, doesn't come directly from AAR or ARMless. So documents would also be anything that's in the MLS documents as well. Forms are coming directly from where you can fill them out. Documents you can't fill out. So they keep those two separate things here. When we go into a transaction, I'll show you where you can find the two separate ones, but you'll have to just click on two separate sections to be able to find a document versus a form to fill out. So documents here, what I like to upload is anything that's required. So if you see that list, anything that's required that is my home group. So affiliated business disclosure is one that I would upload. I'm going to veer off for 1 second here and go to Broker Sumo. Have you guys logged into here? Okay, so Broker Sumo is my home groups. My home groups broker, where they keep everything for you. So if you log into Broker Sumo, go on the left here where it says Office Documents. These are all the updated documents that my home group is providing for you. So broker specific documents, here we have the required documents for a listing file and a purchase file. That's where that stuff came from. These ones aren't as updated because they've been changing a lot of their forms lately, but they'll update them soon. The one that I gave you is more updated than these ones. The affiliated business disclosure is updated. So this is something you want to come in here and download these, whether you're up north in Prescott or down here. You want to download these to your computer just by doing this and saving them. So this is something that's required on every single file. So you want to save that one to your computer, and I do recommend the pre and post possession agreements, especially the post possession agreements right now. Those are really common. And this is a new one from April, just from last month. So you want to download that one to your computer too. So you have that. And then the adult community addendum is one that I see often. W-9, this is where you would find your W-9. So just go through these documents and tell everybody download what you want. When they update them, they don't tell you though, so you might want to check back on these. But when you're writing an offer, you don't want to have to go and try and find the document and download it when you're in a hurry to write an offer, because they have 40 other ones right now. So we're going to go back to Office. Commission agreements. I keep these on my computer too. This is a commission reduction authorization. If you're reducing your commission at all, even $1, you need to fill one of these out. So if you're giving a client a credit at all, commission reduction authorization, that needs to be signed. So you're going to load it into TransactionDesk at some point to sign it. So I just download all of these and I upload them into TransactionDesk so they're there. There's no signing system in Broker Sumo, so you really can't just come in here and get it signed. Broker to broker comp agreement, I see that sometimes too. So, and then disclosures. Here's another one: surprise loop notification, pool notification. These are all required documents if they apply. So if there's a pool, you need to have this pool safety notice signed by your client. If there's an adult community, if there's a loop, you need to have all those. So download what you need. Go through here, download what you need. So let me show you real quick where we're going to upload. I'm going to come right back to this. Where we're going to upload everything. See on the left-hand side that I'm hovering over, this is DocBox, Documents. add new document. You're gonna drag and drop, you can do up to 20 files, everything that you just downloaded to your computer into TransactionDesk. So I download all the documents that I might possibly need. I have my folder, MHG disclosures, and everything's in here.
Well,
And then I can just pull them.
that doesn't go in the forms, it goes into documents.
Documents, exactly. Forms, we can't edit forms. Forms are automatically edited and revised by TransactionDesk when AAR or Armless does it. Documents we have all the control over. And my home group doesn't speak to your TransactionDesk, so you need to update these documents every time there is one updated.
How do you transfer a document to the folder?
To the folder, you go add new document. Let's see, I have a new pool disclosure. I'm gonna upload that. So now that's in there. So that's all you need to do. So it'll take you guys some time to download it all from Broker Sumo. Everything that you want, download it all from Broker Sumo, put it in TransactionDesk. If you're ever watching, like on my home groups, weekly emails on their updates on Facebook, they'll tell you if they've created a new form, and then you'll need to go in and take it again and download it.
Can you share this as a team, or is it just the transaction itself?
This you can't share as a team,
Okay.
but this is not specifically for a transaction. Where I'm at right now is your general transaction desk,
Okay.
where whenever you're in a transaction, you can pull the document in that you need. So that's under this documents right here.
So your dashboard, you've got two sections on the right, document, forms and documents, so all we're doing is setting up the dashboard right now.
No, this is, well, yes, it'll show on your dashboard, but the dashboard only shows the last things that you've accessed. So it'll show the last document that you accessed and the last form that you accessed. So what you're setting up is your general system right now, but the dashboard isn't going to show all this stuff all the time. Make sense?
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so questions on documents, yeah?
Document. So this, you're putting it into a documents area, it's not necessarily into your template.
Mhm.
You can move it over to your template.
Yes, I'm about to go show you the template, but this is the document box for your transaction desk, and you can access it anytime for any transaction for any template.
Okay, because I don't think anyone ever told me that part, and so I was just connecting documents into the template, but I didn't realize there was, so that's what you're saying, there's a document box, you put anything and everything you could possibly want, and then you can pull those into your templates.
When they apply. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so documents are set up now, ideally, when you guys go home and download everything and put it in here. It's all set up. Did you have any questions specifically on uploading documents in here before I go to the templates?
So we're just in comparison it to like DocuSign, where we would, where you would go up and choose your document. You have to set all your documents up ahead of time in the system here, rather than.
You don't have to. You can save them all to your computer and upload them to every transaction if that's what you want to do. I find it a lot easier to already have it in here.
What?
But you don't have to already have it in here.
Right.
With DocuSign, I'm not 100% sure exactly how that works. I believe if you're with another brokerage that has DocuSign, they put the forms in there for you.
Well, I'm just referring to your, like, your purchase contract, or your regular.
That's different, that's a form.
Okay,
Documents are only my home group specific documents.
I got it.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back to the template, transaction templates, purchase template, and I'm going to upload what is required on every single transaction here. That's because I don't want to have to waste time uploading it from my computer every single time. So the affiliated business disclosure is going to be required on every transaction, and that's what you want to put in there.
Okay. So when you're doing these forms and documents, and so it's got a list of everything that possibly use for a particular transaction, be it a listing or a purchase contract. So they're all blank, you're pulling from this. Can this all these forms and check in these documents, can that automatically go into your checklist? So that becomes your checklist too.
Not sure what.
Well, what I'm saying is that my checklist is what I want to look at to make sure I don't miss a document. That's what I want the checklist to be my main point of focus, to make sure that I'm doing the contract management and
So
all
these
the files are
templates,
right.
though, these templates are ideally going to help you with that, but every transaction is different, so you might miss one if you're not referencing this list that my home group provides. So there's no like checkbox list that we can use. So, but this template hopefully will help avoid that. Does that make sense?
It really doesn't. I mean, if you had a list of all the required forms, and if they're not applicable to the transaction, you just don't use them, but it's the list of every single form, be it my home group form, or be it the Armless, or Association of Realtors. I mean, all of those forms, if they're in one place, a checklist, and it lists all of them, say it's 50 of them. You go down the line and you check off with the ones that you need for this transaction. That's your main point.
That's what we're doing here is the templates, but every transaction is different. So like I'm not going to have you add in a solar addendum to this template, because if it doesn't apply, you don't want to do it. So the list is there in TransactionDesk, but you need to apply what you.
I think he's referring to something like Zipfo. Maybe you go in there and choose your own form.
That's what we're doing. I think I'm following you.
But if you set up a template and you have there's a document or a form in that template that you're not going to use, you could just not use it in the transaction.
You can delete it out. You can not use it.
Right. And it still remains in the template for the next time you use that same
Yes.
template.
I'm a little confused as to why you need a template and a checklist. To me, it seems redundant. If it has the same list, and with this
A lot
gentleman
of
just.
people don't know how to set up their templates. So that's what the checklist is for.
What is the purpose of the template then?
To make your life easier.
You just duplicate yourself. It's redundant.
All right, let's go on to 4. Okay, I just want to make sure there's no other documents I want to add here. No. So you can add kind of what you're saying. You can add a pool disclosure and the loop disclosures here if you want to. I don't like to add things that make it a little convoluted in my templates. So if you know that it needs a loop disclosure, you can just take it from your document box that we just created. If you want everything in there, add your loop disclosures, add your pool disclosures, add your adult community, all of that. So next we're going to go on to the forms. So the things you need: residential purchase contract. You can just start typing stuff in and it'll start pulling them up. So go off of that list I gave you: residential purchase contract. You don't need you can't upload an MLS printout. Addendas if you need them.
I'm sorry, can you say on template?
Wait. Go back to the form, like how you pull the forms. versus
On the
that.
template?
Forms to transaction.
Forms right here, and then on the right, the little plus sign is what I clicked on.
How come it's not showing?
It doesn't show the forms.
It's not showing the forms on
Okay.
So when you do the templates, that's
Uh-huh.
just showing you this. It's not
Click
showing
on
right.
purchase template. You gotta be in the template.
And it's in there.
Transaction template. Yeah, I'll take purchase separately. And then scroll down to forms. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to add all the forms in here, because I want your templates Okay. So I'm gonna add them in here too, I'm creating
She's
this with
saying
you.
like, okay, so if you wanna do another,
There's a lot of business people.
Residential purchase contract.
so you can do like residential listing.
Real estate agency disclosure for the buyer.
Under title.
Alright, so we're doing a buyer's template, so I just like to put advisory. And it pulls up all your advisories, buyer advisory, market conditions, and wire fraud are the three that you need.
You still have an issue to get to that.
Yeah, oh, go to forms.
Where do you go to your ad?
So forms are the ones that
Where do you do it, where you can take that in?
And then you have all of these. Oh, this is awesome. Buyer advisory forms.
Now, how do you add?
Yes.
Oh, then I hit the ad
Go to
and
forms,
then you start
And then
typing.
say type on advisory.
Don't I have the advisory?
Yvonne?
and then hit Arizona Association of Realtors.
I already have.
Do you have wire fraud?
Yeah, what we usually do. I'm just gonna do like the counter offer one. Yes, okay. Okay, you can just scroll on. Let's say water wells. Add all of them that you want. Oh my God, I keep getting phone calls. Your MCA.
Every transaction,
Yes. Real estate agency.
Just all the ads in the
Yes.
So what you're some kind of document, I don't care if it's Word, save that on basically, you don't need a checklist once you have the template. You just choose the document.
Capital letter, a lower letter. Done that.
Create the templates.
Yeah, I already have. I know I'm just trying to get it I don't know these guys, but
this one well, that's because you have a problem with like, if you don't pursue your template, if you haven't done that, if you ever like, okay, I'll get you a Starbucks and take this thing, wherever, right, you're there for 3 hours trying to figure out all the departments, what you gotta build, what you gotta build the templates.
Yes, so we can take that.
Okay, this is a cash report, this is what it looks like, whatever it's gonna be. You have a,
oh, so you're setting up different templates for each type of
it's a
transaction.
Then you have that in the last two.
possibly do the real estate, you're gonna do land, but report all the documents. So then you go 2023, 2021 land transaction, buyer land, or something, right?
Strategize, like especially with my BA buyer.
It is, then it's checklist, this is our.
Strategize so that they
You can use
can
Broker, I'm telling you, you're doing your
because
file.
this market is moving up to
He's saying it's not in the template. So in other words, I had to transfer all these documents. Type in the names. See, these guys just split it up. Pages 1 through 3. It's all done. How do you know? These things you gotta type in. documents, and I have to save the documents individually, but I just like to load it all together. That's how I say it, so I've had to sign, or
Yeah.
sign, or document.
A couple of things, just thinking about it, like from this stage right here, we're going to start things that I want. Maybe it seems to me that I want to keep it for myself.
That's exactly what.
Yeah, we're gonna do these two.
Another question, real fast. It just dawned on me.
You walk out of here and somebody says, I need to buy this house right now, I have all the money.
Why don't we have like an actual crystal
I'm gonna put a cash buy it. All the forms are.
Oh, no, we don't, here, this goes with the, brokers in our.
Now I gotta get it in the system.
They're not even trust law to log it in. So,
Escrow company, it all goes to the escrow company. Whatever you list in there as the escrow.
no?
Yeah. This guy's still pretty different.
Okay, cool.
So I would say, just make sure you're not adding, just looking because I'm sure there's a
But this,
There's a lot of.
That's why I'm here, I'm trying to figure out, there's gotta be some thousand years
I still don't have my car back.
well, you know what, I use
So did you go up to
I'm sorry, waiting for it here. Every, you ever say, are those?
You don't have to recall for the.
Well, that was part of like, sort of talking about it, basically sold and the buyer.
I have all, I know all of these words.
There's a form, right?
I have a list of them, like you said.
Alright, so here's what I have, in here. What you're gonna use for every single transaction is usually what I put in
show you
here.
how to do that. 'cause
You can add other things in here that you guys want. I have agents that'll add in here every addendum that they could possibly use, just so they don't forget it. So you can add in the solar addendum in here, the COVID addendum, things like that that you wanna add in here. Or you can just wait until you know that it applies and add it to that transaction that you're in. So this is what I put in every template. We're gonna use a final walkthrough if we get through to the end. We're always gonna use a Binzer. And then all of these disclosures are upfront disclosures with the contract, so they have to be in there too. So this is just what you fill out as a buyer's agent. So I went through and I saw there was a couple like spuds in there. You don't want to put the spuds in there, that comes from the seller. So you don't want to have a spuds in here. You don't want to put an HOA addendum in here, that comes from the seller. You don't fill it out as a buyer's agent, so don't put that HOA addendum in there. Lead-based paint addendum is huge. Your buyers cannot sign that before the seller, so don't put that in there either. You only want to put in here what you're going to fill out for your buyer. Okay? Alright, so we got those forms and those documents. Are you guys good? Do you want to take those down, or are you good? Okay.
So, basically, in the template, that's where you would go through those forms and actually fill them out with your names and stuff, so when you...
Yeah, we're gonna do that right now. So this is also where, like, if something changes, you're gonna go into your template where we're at right now and edit it in here first, before you edit it in your transaction. If you edit it in your transaction, it's not gonna be changed for any of your future transactions. So we're gonna go through and set up a purchase contract template right now, so you guys have that ready. I just go through and check all these boxes. So pull up your purchase contract, and we're gonna write in what you want in there for your buyers. But I'm gonna go through, and this is what you want in your template. Your county. If you guys primarily work in Maricopa County, you're gonna want to put Maricopa in there. If you're working in other counties, I would leave that blank. Earnest money here.
How do you get to this contract?
Settings, transaction template. purchase template that we've created. Forms, purchase contract. And I pulled up the purchase contract.
After
Sorry, where was it? Did you get there? You want me to go
after
through?
transaction templates,
So we created this. We created a purchase template. Hopefully you guys clicked on add, and then you clicked add, and that's where we typed in purchase template. Selected residential purchase, and that's what created this. And then I went through, added the affiliated business disclosure into this, added all my forms that I want in every single transaction, and now I'm filling in my purchase contract. The point of this is so that you don't have to fill in any of this stuff every time you write an offer. And you don't forget stuff. Like, this is super common. This escrow company needs to be checked. This comes through all the time. When I get contracts that come in, not checked, you have to have an addendum to fix it. The broker will kick it back. Just because you forgot to check that. So if you have this checked in your template, that'll avoid the whole thing of you having to create an addendum. Okay? So we're gonna go through earnest money. Type in what you guys want to type in here. So I put to be deposited within 48 hours of contract acceptance. Just click on it.
Business hours, actually.
Business, you can't put business hours. I mean, if you're representing a buyer, you're gonna wanna put business hours. If you're representing a seller, you don't wanna have them have business hours in there because you have the opportunity there. Here. So next one is usually gonna be your client's down payment is the next line. So additional down payment. And then the next one, to be secured by, and I leave it blank because I usually fill in conventional loan, VA loan, FHA loan. If it's different with your third transactions, all you have to do is delete it. It's easier to delete stuff out of here than it is to sit and type it all in. So put what you want here, whether it's personal check, wire transfer, or you can leave it blank. I always put other and TBD. And then Agenda Incorporated, we're not gonna fill any of this in for the template. This is all based off of what the property and what the offer entails. You don't put advisories in here, this is only for addendum. You can put in here as seen in MLS, and then so that all you have to write in is the date, if that's what you prefer. All of this is blank. If you want to fill in zeros, because we're not going to have concessions for the next year, then you can do that. Click buyer. This is one that commonly needs to be fixed because it's forgotten. Buyer. And then escrow company. This is really the main point of templates because this is a pain in the butt to fill in every time you write an offer. So fill in your favorite escrow company here. Lawyers. Well, I don't want to.
Go to forms, go to the forms, hit purchase contract and double click on it.
Yes.
Another question coming from somebody from California. In today's market, and the sellers buy everything. I mean, sellers always got escrow in California. If we put in, is it customary that the buyer gets the
Forms, wherever we had it,
Depends on who you talk to. Here, it's a big debate. It's supposed to be buyer's choice, but if you want the offer, a lot of times it's seller's requested.
The only reason why I'm asking
Yeah.
is if we pre-filled it, and that's something that's gonna be countered on, there's already enough pressure on price.
From all the contracts I see, I would say 7 out of 10 are my buyer's agent's choices.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it really just depends.
Cool.
And then if they want to, they contact their escrow company.
And the name you put, is that the title rep or is that the escrow officer?
This is the escrow officer.
Okay.
And then you would put their address in here. So, you wanna go with their address, their email, everything in here, so it's all filled in for you.
I have a question. If you have a title company and an escrow company that are different, or does that not happen here in California?
It can happen.
So like,
Yeah.
if you have an escrow
I've never
company,
seen
in
that.
California we have different escrow companies and different title companies. So you could use lawyers and you could use Kelly Park at XYZ.
I've done like 1,500 transactions, never seen it happen.
Okay.
It can, it's
Arizona
legal.
is
It's legal.
simplified.
Yeah.
I like it.
Alright, so this is not gonna be blank, hopefully, in your guys' templates. But I'm not gonna go look up all this information for this template. Alright, so here, a lot of people like to put none. I've even had other brokerages like create an addendum for that, so I just put it in there just to make everybody happy. You can fill in these if you want. I like to just make sure there's no confusion, so I fill in what the number is, even if it's the same. Sewer system is normal, so I will check sewer system. If there's a septic, then I can check it later. This I fill in 5. This I fill in 3. And then if you guys prefer a home warranty with all of your contracts, some agents do, I would fill in all that information in here too. If not, then just do the buyer declines home warranty. This can be changed every transaction. And then additional terms and conditions. If there's something you include on every single contract, put it in here. If not, then we'll leave it blank. You can also go to your clauses. These are the clauses that I showed you to set up. If this is something you want on every, like close of escrow on or before, I might want that on every contract, so that's in there now. Alright, and then you need to fill in all of this information. Your name is automatically going to be put on the contract, so you don't need to fill in your name, but I would definitely put in your firm address.
Oh, is that why it showed up twice for me? Because I filled it in, so I should take that off?
Yeah, I would take that. If you type your name in here, it'll just show on both spots, which isn't a big deal, but it kind of drives people crazy. So put your address of your office. You can also put the Rangetree address if you want to, because this address in here, a lot of escrow companies will look at this and send your check there, and it has to come to the Rangetree office. Put your phone number and your email in there. It won't automatically do it. And then check the seller box here too. Make sure that that's checked for your template. Anybody know the zip code here?
How about the address? 260.
Wait, oh, she's got it.
Oh, wait.
That. Oh, never mind. Would have been a bad question. There's going to be something in regard to duplicate, like with the name of the agent, but why the hell would there be two offices that show up?
My home group has a lot of offices, so like if you're in the Chandler office, this is going to say the Chandler office address here. You would want to put this my HGO2. Yours might be different. Here's the firm license number. All right. You guys got that all filled in, or you need to sign it?
Oh, wait, the MLS code?
This one would be
No.
yours.
No, down below. It
Oh.
automatically comes up though, doesn't it?
This my H202.
Yeah.
Another time.
That's,
Oh, do
you
you
need the
want?
license number
You
there,
have-
the individual
My
agent's
license
license.
number.
Oh, leave that in there, our license number?
Yeah, if you want yours in there, you can. I don't, mine's not listed here. And I don't remember it offhand, so I'm just gonna leave it blank for now.
Guess I'm gonna.
Do you want me, you can pull out one of those two right there, and plug it in right next to that.
Oh, there we go. Say that.
Alright, file, save and exit. At the bottom.
Push them back.
At the top, go to file.
Use this one.
Okay, the next one that you're gonna wanna fill out in your template is the agency disclosure. So you never have to open this again when you send it for, send any contract for signature. So you're gonna put my home group, your name, and then click 34, 36, and buyer under 45. Now that this is like this, it's perfect. Your clients will sign it every time and you don't need to change it.
If we go to that top file, that automatically saves, right, that top.
File, save and exit, yep. Or even right here on the top right, save and exit.
Where?
Top right, the most right choice. Right there. Alright, buyer advisory, there's nothing to fill in on that. There's nothing to fill in on the market conditions and the wire advisory. Those are just names and signatures. The Binzer, we're not going to fill that in, or the pre-close walkthrough either at this point. These are just templates. Alright, we're not going to do teams and sharing. This is really if you were on a team and they wanted every transaction shared with them, you would add in the team that you wanted. Alright, so that is our purchase template. We're going to go over a listing template real quick. So add another template and do listing residential. This is what we'll name that one. Go to residential listing right here. This type is pretty important because it's going to automatically assign you either as the seller's agent or the buyer's agent. So you want to be automatically assigned as the seller's agent when we're creating the listing residential template. I want to make sure I'm not losing anybody.
How did you pull up the listing?
So I'm creating another template. So if I
Right.
go to transaction template,
Yeah.
click add, and just name it listing residential.
Right.
And then go
Okay.
residential listing.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And that's where we are. Once you click create, this is where we are. Affiliated business disclosure is going to be required. Where is it?
The forms I saved didn't be saved on my file.
Is it saved in here? Oh.
What did you do?
So I don't know what I did wrong.
Did you upload them?
Yeah.
I'll look at it at lunch and
Okay.
see. Okay, forms. So this is for if you have a listing. I just like to type in right because it'll bring it up. The residential listing contract exclusive right. That's the first one you want to add. You type in seller, it's gonna pull up the disclosure of buyer agency, no, not that one. Real estate agency disclosure for seller. And then advisor.
Sorry, what's the first one?
The first one I did was the exclusive right.
Okay.
And then after that,
And then I did. I did right. Residential listing contract exclusive right. Then I typed in seller. And I did real estate agency disclosure for seller. And I'm just selecting all of these before I apply them.
okay,
Type in advisory. And we're gonna need market conditions advisory and wire fraud advisory. Now, here you will need an HOA addendum if that applies, so you can apply that to your template if you want to. You can also apply the lead-based paint if you want to, or you can just apply it when you know you need it. And then spuds. And that is it, unless you need an MLS input form, a profile sheet. If you're somebody who puts in MLS yourself, and you want your clients to fill out a profile sheet, or you want to fill out a profile sheet, you might want to add in the profile sheet here, put it in MLS. It'll pre-fill out the information that it knows about the property for you, so that'll save you some time if you add it into your template. Alright, got this list down?
Yep.
And you can also refer to that list I gave you for the required documents for a listing file too. So we're gonna go to the exclusive right. This one's super easy to fill out. There's really not much that we're gonna put in here. You're gonna put in my home group, real estate, as your broker. Your name. If you do Maricopa County, you're gonna wanna put the county there. Cell. Make sure I'm not losing anybody. Are we all on this page?
Yeah.
You're on it? Okay, so let me exit out of here. I am under transaction templates. Listing residential because that's where I created it. Just that little add button. I'm under forms. And these were all the forms I just added. And I'm gonna do this residential listing contract on top.
it would pre-fill the agent name.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just putting in the generic information in here. It's always gonna be a cell. You can create a rental template too.
Oh, this is probably unlocked. I'm just like.
Does yours look different? So, if you want to change the forms out too, you guys will need to know this because this recently just happened with all of my listing templates for all of my agents. They had the old ER on it. Once any form is updated at all, the market conditions advisory was just updated, TransactionDesk disables it. You can't even open it. So it'll still be sitting in here, but it'll have a little red thing that says this form is disabled.
Does it add the updated form, or do you have to go in?
You have to go into your template and add it into your template, but the updated form is in there. So you can select them here. This basket does a lot of options for you, whatever screen you're in. So make sure to remember to check the basket if you need to. And just delete out what you don't want in your templates or in your transactions. You just check them, go to the basket, and do it. So if you needed to update your new form, add a new form in here. I just had to add in the new ER to most of my agents' templates. You would just add it in here and then fill it out so that your templates are updated. Okay, so we're back to this ER. You're going to want to check the sale so nothing is missed. Cooperating brokers, I mean, you can fill this in if you do a set amount every single time. You can put it in here. If if you guys do, I've seen some agents that are doing like administrative fees, you might wanna add that right here. If you're doing administrative fees, you're gonna add in whatever that is and how much you charge. And then, if you guys want to, you can fill all these in 0. Just so there's no confusion. Purchase by tenant, you're gonna wanna fill in whatever number you guys want in there or leave it blank if you don't want that to apply. 90 days after expiration. All of this stuff is mainly gonna be left blank and unless you have specific wording like in your listing agreements. Sign, photos, lockbox, this is all given permission for all of this, so if you want to leave it blank and ask everybody what they want, I always say yes to all of them unless they tell me no. So like this one is a new one too, broker is obligated or authorized to disclose offers, that needs to be checked yes,
Yeah.
and then accept backup offers. So I check all of these things in my template, so there's no mistake made where I accidentally forgot to check a box. And then additional terms, again, if you have any specific terms you want in your listing agreement every single time. One that I really like in there is to be put in MLS upon further direction of seller. Based off of, once this is signed, supposedly, it's supposed to be an MLS within, I think it's 2 days. So if you have this in here, then you can put it in MLS once the seller tells you they're ready to have it in MLS.
Question, regarding the MLS, is there an MLS rule that we would have to notify them that we took the listing and didn't put in within 48 hours?
I want to say no, but don't quote me on that. I don't think so.
It's in Orange County,
I don't think they want
you
to
had to, which in Orange County you had to, which I kind of dug on that coming soon thing in the MLS here, it's just that some MLSs have rules saying you have to let them know if you're not putting something in.
There's a new rule I would look up and read. Clear cooperation rule and see what that says, but the broker's probably the one. If you ask the broker that question, they would know really what they prefer. All right, and then you want to put all your stuff in here. Your email. Oh, that's the owner, sorry. This is your association. And then your phone number. Your email. All filled in. If you're on a team or with a partner and you guys take all listings together, put your partner's information here. I'm going to give you guys a minute to fill all that in.
So does it fill in your information and your name automatically here or not?
No. So because this is a new ER, TransactionDesk actually does not recognize what's supposed to go in the boxes and where you're supposed to sign on this new ER yet.
Okay.
They're behind on that. So I'd fill all of that in. Victoria, did I set up your listing template too, or no?
Probably not yet, but we'll get there. All right. This is our listing template. It's all set up now. So you guys should have a residential purchase template and a listing template already. Go through here on your own time and add in any documents that you want to add in because we didn't stop to do all that. Okay, so we're going to go to start a transaction on our dashboard here. So most of the time, you're going to start a transaction from this dashboard, if you log in just to the main dashboard, or from MLS. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. If you're on, let's say we're writing an offer for this property, all you have to do is click TransactionDesk up here on the right. It's going to take me there. Oh, darn it. I don't know. Hold on. 6637. Sorry guys, I don't use my personal login very often. Okay. So if you're in yours, click TransactionDesk. I obviously don't use this login very often.
Welcome to our world.
It would have been nice if it was the first time. Okay, so let's just pretend I got logged in. Okay?
Should we all do this address?
Yes, you guys can all do this address. Just don't send the offer to the agent, okay? They would be very happy. So if you click TransactionDesk, I was just going to show you, this is not the way I want you guys to write the offer because it's a little bit more difficult this way. But this is definitely an option. If you click TransactionDesk, it's just going to take all of the information from MLS and create a transaction automatically for you.
Oh, cool.
Every time you click on it from here. But that's a difficult way to do it because if that's how you condition yourself to log into TransactionDesk, you're going to have a million transactions in there that you actually didn't want to create in there. So that's why in the beginning I had you go into the main login to do the login that way. So if you go into the main login, this is how you would want to create a transaction. It's just create transaction. I'm going to put 6637. Prickly Pear Trail. So if you're on your 7th offer with a buyer, I always tell you to create a new transaction. If you try to edit the old transaction and it has the MLS information from the other properties, somewhere in the forms and documents it's going to come up with the old information somewhere. The seller's name from the old house. So it's really just easier to create a new transaction. So I'm going to apply the template we just created. And then I'm going to import the data from MLS. So I import the data just off of the MLS number.
What's
623-8500. Okay. This use wizard is always checked. I never use the wizard. It's going to prompt you to enter in a ton of information that is really just a waste of time, I feel. So there's just a couple steps that you do need to do that the wizard will walk you through. You can do those on your own. The wizard asks you to enter in like contract dates, acceptance dates, all of these things that you don't use. So I never use the wizard and create the transaction.
So much fun.
Alright, so this is everything from MLS because I imported the MLS number. If you forget to import the MLS number, go to this little hamburger menu up at the top, import data, and then you can just select armless or what it is, residential, and put the MLS number in here. You can click automatically populate forms. So step Most important step when it comes to TransactionDesk is go to your contacts and add in your buyers before opening any forms at all. You probably wouldn't have existing. Create new transaction contact. Buyer 1. Buyer on the right hand side menu. So in TransactionDesk, the right hand side is going to be your menu for this transaction that you're in. The left hand side menu is for TransactionDesk overall. So if you see this pen over here, this is all your signings. If you go to the signings on the right, that's only the signings for this transaction. So I went to contacts, add, create new transaction contact, buyer. Bob Buyer. Okay, this is gonna automatically fill in your forms for you because you said this person's a buyer. It's gonna put this name in all the buyer spots on every single form. This is going to dictate when you go to your forms and you're like, why is their name wrong? Go to the contacts. Figure out why it's spelled wrong. If their signature and their legal name is different than it's supposed to be, this is where you need to edit it. I like to add everybody the address book. If you're gonna write another offer, you won't have to come in here and put their email again. All you have to do, add existing contact. Bob Buyer's in there already, okay? If you keep adding them, every single offer you write, you're gonna have 42 Bob Buyers in there. Okay? So, add existing one.
I'm sorry. Okay, you create the buyer and you save the contact, right? And then what you put?
I didn't even get my phones up
I
here.
created, I saved the contact, it's in there, that's it.
Okay,
If you have a buyer right here,
Yeah, which I do.
yeah, then you're good.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Question.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're going on the right-hand side and you're clicking on contacts and you put the buyer's name in there, and that contract doesn't get accepted, the next time through, that was only for that transaction. Why wouldn't you click the contacts on the left side? So it's
Now they're in my contacts, because when I created a new transaction contact, this little box right here that says add to address book, that also adds them to the contacts in TransactionDesk.
So it adds it to the contact list on the left side, because the contact list on the right side is strictly for that transaction. So you gotta check that box then down at the bottom. Okay, thank you.
So the seller C-tax record here, that came from MLS. You don't want the seller's name on page 1 of the contract to be C-tax record. So, let's see the tax record. This is the seller's name. Okay, so that's another seller's name. It's going to be populated on all the forms. You want that to be correct because when you go to do your bids or when you go to do an addendum, you go to do a final walkthrough, this is populated. This is why the contacts are so important. Your addendums are going to be wrong. Your final walkthroughs, everything's going to be wrong if these aren't right.
You wouldn't but didn't see Demetrius, add 2 contacts, one with just Demetrios Somaticus and the other with Connie Somaticus, and then you add each of them?
You can, but it's really not necessary.
I'm infected by a litigious state's real estate practices. It's all I'm saying.
Do you guys use lawyers over there? Or no?
No. No, it's just a lawsuit happy state.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna add, I'm gonna add myself so I can show you a CC. So I just added myself as a general, so we can CC, but if you notice it brought over all the listing agents information as well. All right, so next we're going to look at the documents. There was an affiliated business disclosure, there is no HOA addendum in MLS. There's no documents at all in this MLS. So, it didn't bring anything over.
Right.
But there is an HOA, so we wanna check that. It's about to be lunchtime, so I don't wanna go through and fill anything out. I wanna do that after lunch, is go through and fill everything out and send it for signature. So right now we're just gonna go make sure our forms are there, everything the buyer needs. There's no solar.
No, I had to call
It's
it.
2,000, so no lead-based paint.
Jesus Christ, but I need to call my auto shop.
Okay, so this is a good stopping point, I'm gonna stop here. Let's just supposed to be here in just a few minutes, and then after lunch, we're gonna write the offer and send it for signatures. Okay? We're gonna do the most important part.
Yeah.
You just go to settings, transactions, transaction template, purchase template. What was that again?
It's your service.
Oh, I'm sure I made
Yeah, go down the
Yeah.
line.
You guys are.
Because I wasn't finding all of
I don't know why it's not saving.
And I found, oh, here's how you do it. Here you go.
Yeah, I know, that's, I got it.
Those-
So you click these arrows and then click add.
I did that.
I do have
Do that.
So,
Yeah, I was in the home sales.
Are you in the bathroom today?
No, I just don't know why I have to pay for it. I hit my car.
the inspector.
I've been doing
Just
it.
sit there and say
Called
it.
buyer.
Okay.
He said I got a check.
When the inspector had it.
So, but after, you know, you're in.